And
My mic's on now.
Ah, yes, there we
Ah,
go.
there we are. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, we're new.
Test,
here.
We're new.
test,
We're new.
test, test. There we go.
And
All
I
right.
had some good jokes going and everything.
Where are we getting this feedback from? Like who
I think
is?
it might be just coming through the speaker.
No, I meant
Probably
who is
staff.
who is
Oh,
telling us?
oh.
we're getting a phone call from.
Oh, right.
to watch.
Oh, my gosh. Do we know how many people are watching? Just out of curiosity. A singleton. All right, very good. All right, very good. All right, so this is just information for us. You can read this at your leisure. We will now be recording our meetings and being live
And
streamed.
so, yes, so it will be. Let me make sure you can hear me.
Ah, right. Wow.
Is your mic on?
Nice. We need like a roadie.
I know.
It's like one of these.
That's
You,
for the audience.
Robert, you are an old DJ.
Okay.
Maybe.
Help us with the
Oh,
technical.
Now mine, I'm always old school, everything plugged in. I didn't have this wireless stuff.
I wish I
Of
could.
course, we have an audience the one time we're in absent.
All
Back in the Buddy Guy era. I
Really
didn't
not
have
like
this.
this.
Good guy. Nice, nice.
I can claim we're usually not like this
All right.
because there's no other recordings.
Well, next meeting will be smoother.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Okay.
Working the bugs up.
What I was gonna say is that the public can watch live.
Right,
It's a webinar, so they can join via Zoom.
right.
We are recording. So
Yep.
after the meeting, we have 3 days to post.
Okay.
So that anyone in the public who wants to watch it anytime from now through the next 5 years can do so.
5 years. It's.
Oh, they're held, the library is held for 5 years. Okay.
Wow.
I believe we're putting them on YouTube.
Yeah, that would be 7B.
5
recordings for
years
5
in the
years.
archive. Okay.
Yep.
I will enjoy seeing this in 20, whatever the hell that is.
So
right?
you're just
20,
telling us
20
about this. We
yeah,
don't need
yeah.
to do anything.
I'm just telling you since
right.
it applies to you.
Okay.
Okay, so very good. Thanks for that update, Emily. We will look forward to being live and in living color at each meeting. Okay, DDA TIF staff, Emily, will provide an update of the TIF.
Yes, so we have been chugging right along. Looking forward to a public hearing on Monday, which we had noticed and we're excited about to get done by the end of the fiscal year. When we learned calendar year. When we learned on Thursday that we missed a requirement. So the state requires that any downtown that has more than 100 residents in their DDA must create a 9 resident member advisory board 60 days before the public hearing. And so this was on no one's radar because you wouldn't think that we have more than 100 residents in our downtown. But when you include the Whitcomb, we do.
I thought the Whitcomb
okay.
wasn't in the DDA. I thought it was on the
It
other
was
side.
added to the DDA in 2013.
Oh, okay, yeah,
All right.
I remember
So
that.
we have more than 100. So we canceled the public hearing for tonight, which is a shame. We will not make the deadline of the calendar year, which is okay. But we will keep going. Doesn't change the intent of creating the DDA TIF, just means that we have to go back and we have to follow all the steps. So there are 2 steps that we can take that I was hoping the DDA could weigh in on. Step 1 is we create a 9-member advisory board. They will advise on the DDA TIF plan and how that money is spent. I think it could be hard to find 9 residents who are interested in doing it, but you know.
And
we'll-
these at 9 have to be not affiliated with this board or the city or
Know
anything.
if there can be any overlap. The language in the state requirements is pretty simple. So, you know, maybe Sue could do both, but it has to be DDA residents.
Oh.
The alternative is to bring our DDA population under 100, which would be carving the Whitcomb back out of the DDA.
Hmm.
I wasn't here 10 years ago. I don't know why they were added. And I really don't feel strongly about these 2 choices, but they were sort of, you know, raised as these are the options. And I think those are both viable options. So I think the question for the DDA is, do we want to have a 9-member advisory board with the residents that we currently have in our DDA? Or do we want to, in some way, bring our residents down under that threshold?
Do you-
Knowing that with a development or something like that, the
Could
number,
go
of
the other
course,
way, sure.
might come back up.
So when you're looking for 9 residents to be on this advisor, is it like, do they have to come together once and meet and discuss it? Or do they have to meet
Oh, it's
multiple? Because I think
believe
that's-
it's an ongoing
an
advisory board.
ongoing.
It's not monthly though, is it? It is not monthly, as I recall. So, and I do want to highlight, there is a third option, as I remember, that 20% of, if you get a petition by 20% of the residents, you can just say you're not going to have it, but it has to be signed off by, I believe, 20%. Did you see that in the legislation?
I did not.
I will double check that. I'm almost positive that there's a way to do it. Again, this is an advisory group. This is not a governance group. It is
Right,
not
Right.
making decisions
Right.
or.
I
Do we,
mean,
do
So
we
it'd
know?
basically be a 9-person board of residents that would basically put their 2 cents in on what would take place with the TIF money.
Well, it would,
Do we know how many residents are outside of the Whitcomb? What's that number? I mean, do we know
Um,
roughly?
we estimate it at maybe about 80, just
Oh,
off the top of my head.
That high?
I think we came up with about 46 apartments. I can't say that they are all occupied. And I can't say how many people live in them, right?
Oh,
But if
that-
you,
People are shifting to short-term rentals too, right?
that removes short-term rentals.
So that includes that. So,
No, that removes it.
oh, removes.
That
it. Right.
removes short-term rentals.
Okay.
So, you know, I think a lot of them are single occupancy, but I don't know. So I would say it's roughly, you know,
I mean, my instinct is it's gonna be really hard to find 9 people
I
to
would agree.
commit
that,
and then be able to coordinate their
Yeah,
schedules
yep,
to meet
yep, yep.
in
I
a
agree with that.
timely or, like I said, if they have to meet once and discuss it and weigh in, or once or twice, but if it's an ongoing commitment, I just think it's gonna be hard.
I'm gonna guess as long as the TIF's in place, that board's in place, right?
yes,
So
yes.
Yeah.
like forever.
I mean, yeah, those apartments have high turnover. I mean, we used to own apartments down there. They're high turnover.
Are we better
I think
served?
some of the condos are also folks who are here half the year,
Yeah.
which is another challenge. I've had the
Are
same.
we,
thoughts.
Well,
are we better served trying to just eliminate this requirement? I mean, what do you say?
Eliminate the requirement.
Yeah, we can.
Eliminate.
If we get 20%
Oh.
of the residents to say no, then we don't need it.
I don't want to,
I'm looking for that right now.
I don't want to bank on that. Let's see what Andrew can come
But
up
even
with.
that-
The only thing
think
I can think of, I
it
mean,
was
if we
hard.
do get this, if we do say, all right, let's just move forward with this 9-person advisory board. I mean, the decisions on what we do with it, I mean, we've already determined that, especially in the beginning, the TIF is going to be minimal.
Nominal,
To be generous, it's really not going to be much at all. So I think any advisory board that would need to be brought in would maybe be once or twice a year, because we're going to decide what we're doing with that money. There's not going to be a whole lot to play with.
Well, I want to remind you though, that the DDA TIF plan has to include what the DDA plans to do with all money, which would include parking revenues. It includes the millage and it includes the DDA TIF. So if you look, and I can pull it up if it's helpful, the spreadsheet, the budget spreadsheets that we put together has all of those revenues with projections out 30 years.
So the advisory board would be weighing in on not
That
just the TIF,
plan.
but everything.
Correct,
Okay.
because if you have a TIF, you have to have the plan.
Okay.
And so I think they weigh in on the whole thing.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
think the biggest thing is just finding 9 people
Yeah.
to commit to do. I think that's a heavy lift. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just
That's a push.
concerned
I think it's a
that-
push. I agree. I
that
think it's a push.
No,
just finding them to commit and then getting them together is
Right.
gonna be a challenge.
Yeah.
Got the piece of the legislation here, so. A development area citizens council may not be required and if formed, may be dissolved in any of the following situations. A, on a petition of not less than 20% of the adult resident population of the development area by the last federal decennial municipal census. That's the key one. Let's see here. Or you can do a 2/3 vote of your council to eliminate the requirement. If I'm reading this right.
2/3 vote of what?
The city council?
commission?
I just read that last part. Then it says comma, a governing body after public hearing with notice thereof given in attendance was section 218, which I gotta look that up. And by a 2/3 vote may adopt an ordinance for the development area to eliminate the necessity of a development area citizens council. So it sounds like that could be done in the ordinance as well.
By the commission.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's
So if
the,
you don't take that action, you must have it and you can get around it or set it up differently through a couple different processes.
I think that's, that would seem to be the easiest course, because if you, I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, if you try and get some type of petition and all that, I mean,
It's
flagging that down is gonna be a nightmare. I think it's gonna be as difficult
Well,
as trying to
especially
get,
this time of
trying to
year.
get 9 people to serve on this thing on some kind of regular basis.
Sure.
I think that's gonna be extremely difficult. So it would seem to me,
I mean, obviously,
what you're
we're dealing with,
suggesting
trying to.
is,
quorum.
is a good strategy, I
Mhm.
think.
I
What do you
would
think,
recommend that we-
Emily?
I'm sorry, that we take one more look at this kind of sub chunk of
Yep.
the legislation and understand if that does or doesn't preclude doing this by the end of the year. If some of this can happen and the 90-day thing is not a requirement. So there's not any further action that the DDA would need to take in either way. You guys have approved and you've recommended the TIF plan.
Yes.
So all this stuff will fall to commission. Does that sound correct to you?
Yeah, so you're suggesting, I want to make sure I'm following, the preference would be for the commission to adopt language that says
Eliminate this
9
requirement,
the 9-member advisory board
right.
is eliminated.
right?
Um, if they are comfortable doing so.
Yes, of
The
course.
alternative would be, are we landing on eliminating that portion of the DDA? I just want to understand what, because I don't know how the.
No, I would
commission
keep
would-
it-
Yeah, I
But
think we
Yeah,
keep it and you
keep
would.
the border.
And you would keep the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
I-
the border, the DDA border, keep,
Right.
yeah, the boundary.
But then you would try to form a 9.
I think if the council comes back to us and tells us that they don't want to go down this path, we're gonna have to revisit this, right?
Okay.
And I
alright.
think they, you know,
And if
then,
that's the
then we,
case, there's no rush
yeah,
because we're gonna, if that is the case, it won't happen this calendar year. So we can
Alright.
take our time and work through it.
Right, but
Okay,
if we can,
so
if we can
we'll-
get the 2/3 vote from city council, that's the route that we would like to take.
Yep.
If that's the option.
Okay.
Well, what are the facts in terms of the last census, in terms of what the census shows? We have people living downtown, because that might not be a insurmountable number based upon that
It's
document.
over
that exists.
100.
It's over 100?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the
Yes.
Whitcomb.
All right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Can
you
you
gotta
clarify
have.
what the timeline is? So if we don't make it by this calendar year, then we're just running on the next calendar year by the end of,
Exactly.
correct?
Yes.
But we lose the increased tax value that we've generated through our efforts the last few years. And so the reason we wanted to do it this year is as of December 31st, we'd capture all the revenue, the increased values that happened this year. So that was the reason we were doing it, was,
I mean, can we do it in that time frame?
I was just gonna
yeah.
say, just to be clear, there's no process, no matter which one the city commission does, none of them are gonna get us done at the end of this calendar year, are they?
this one.
I don't know. I think it could
Push.
possibly
push.
happen this calendar year if the city commission took action in the same meeting as the public hearing. That would
Okay.
require us to turn it around incredibly quickly because you have to notice the public hearing at least 20 days. And we have 3 weeks until from tonight to our next city commission meeting. So if we decided we wanted to go forward with this, we would have to notice it immediately
Okay.
so that it could be on the November 18th meeting.
Well, and I think that makes sense, because again, if we have those statistics, you know, of the over 100, how many of them were in the Whitcomb? And so if I am a city council member, not obviously speaking for them, but, you know, if in fact you've got 100 people and 60 of them, you know, live in the Whitcomb, that's only 40. And so therefore, getting back to what we're talking about, how are you gonna get 9 people out of 40 to end up, you know, you start reducing the number. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a decision that requires hours and hours of thought process by the council members. So I would expose it to them tonight and get ready for, and cross your fingers and hope they're comfortable doing it in November, and you can overlap some of the timeframes.
Yeah, I think that's.
And can we shoot for that?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you know,
Absolutely.
Emily, your best efforts here. I know this is not easy to.
I think
kinda-
after this
make all
meeting,
this stuff
Andrew
work.
and I can rework the timeline
Okay, all right.
with that in mind and see if it'll fall into place. I remember we had a 1 meeting cushion.
And it'll
But
save us 12
this
months
would
of
be tight.
capture.
Well, it
Yeah.
just gets the ball rolling. It's,
Yeah.
you know, we put a stake in the ground and, you know, we go from there. So
Which
I think
It's
it's.
not gonna make a big difference now. but
No, it
10
will,
years
it
down the
will
road-
down the road.
10
Yeah,
years
it will
down the road, it
Yeah,
could make a difference.
That's right.
By procrastinating, you're just losing free money.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, all right, Emily,
All right.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
Yep,
you.
I'm good.
Thank
All
you
right.
very
Sorry,
much.
I'm
Very
I was a
good.
little slow on that one.
No,
No, no
Appreciate
problem.
your
Andrew,
patience.
thank you.
No problem.
There've been a number of questions since the notice was sent out to the residents as required by the legislation. Every property owner, not just residents, every property owner in the district had to be noticed by mail. And I think making sure that if you all are supportive of this, that potentially you're encouraging your friends or others that would also be supportive to speak in favor of it. I think we're not likely to see a lot of people that are opposed to it, but I think certainly there will be some questions, so.
Sure.
Yeah, I got a couple calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
When people see that, the word tax, they think, oh, my taxes are going up. It's like,
Right.
No, no.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah, that's the knee jerk reaction.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course,
it's natural.
Right.
Natural.
When in fact, that's obviously not the case, but that's another discussion. Okay, all right, thanks, Emily. Andrew, appreciate your work on this. All right, next item. A little simpler item, a downtown holiday lighting. I know our group has put quite a bit of time in sorting this out. I think,
There's one tiny little typo on the
Oh.
agenda item. It says $10.45 for the greenery. I think it's
Yeah.
$10,000. I think that should be a comment. up
That's definitely correct.
here.
That is definitely a pretty meaningful little typo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
all right, so I think, Emily, what you were looking for from us was just an approval to use monies out of our fund balance to do the lighting installation, similar to what we did last year, I assume.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
all right.
Greg can speak to it better than I can if you want more details, but we have money in the budget for State Street. Last year, the city has money in the budget for State Street. Last year, the DDA funded additional lighting on the side streets, including Pleasant all the way to Court Place
Yep.
Plaza.
Yep.
We want to do the same this year. It's a cost of $9,400 out of the fund balance if we want to do that.
All right, I don't know, can I get a motion to approve?
So we already have 5,000 for that, so we're only looking for another 4,400, correct?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Does it feel like Monday morning to anyone else?
Mhm.
Correct. 4,400 would be the addition on top of the 5,000 we budgeted for.
Oh. I'll make that motion because I don't have a business on Pleasant.
Great, all right,
Thank you.
very good.
I
I got a
that
second?
motion.
Yeah, great, thanks, Sammy. I don't know, any more discussion about this? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, very good, Emily, there you go. $4,400 approved. All right, so let's see here. Parking lot 11 discussion. So we have our friend Kevin here. Got some handy dandy drawings and handouts and all kinds of good stuff.
You guys want the mic back?
Maybe
Oh,
so.
wow.
Yeah, that's great.
I can put it up on the screen.
Say, the public can
I don't
see
think he has it. He's got a handout, yeah.
All right, so Kevin is with Spicer Group. He's our, Spicer is our consultant on this project. Many of you will recall, we had a public input meeting about a month ago to receive some input on this project. So what Kevin is handing out is 3 different concepts. It's important to note that these are concepts. We're not picking one specific concept. This is kind of an à la carte where we kind of like this concept, but we like this from this concept and this from that concept, and we try to pull it all together to make one. So I'll just kind of go through and highlight. We'll start with concept 1 and just kind of talk through all of these. So with all of these concepts, unfortunately, we do have a loss of parking. There's a lot of variables to that loss of parking. One is probably the most noticeable is the lot currently has no ADA parking, so we have to address that. So you're going to lose some parking that way.
There's not any ADA parking in there now?
Nope. 0.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we've
believe
got
you.
to address that.
Just surprised.
The way this is laid out currently, this on concept 1, well, all the concepts. So the city ordinance states that all parking stalls should be 10 feet wide. That's not unusual. A standard parking stall, I don't know that there's specifically an industry standard, but the range is 9 to 10 feet wide. Our ordinance states that they're 10 feet wide. So as a result, we are losing parking because we're widening our parking stalls.
How wide are they currently?
Quite a variety.
Over there?
Yeah.
But none of them are 10.
None of them are 10.
None of them are 10. They range from anywhere from 8.5 to 9.5.
So is that what accounts for losing so many spots in the redesign, is widening all the spaces?
Yeah.
Okay,
For the most part. I mean, obviously there are some other
and the
So-
ADA spots.
in the ADA spots. So
Yeah.
over here, we're losing some parking because the drive lane is too narrow. So we have to widen out the drive lane. And in order to do that, we kind of had to change the angle and we lost a couple spots there as well. So there's some little things there. I think there were some comments, I guess, and I feel like a lot of the parking stalls currently as laid out are a little tight. So I think, do we have to be 10? Maybe not. Maybe we meet in the middle somewhere at 9.5, and it gives you a little more comfort in getting in and out of your car. And
It's
we
it's
certainly,
pretty tight now. I just parked there and I'm,
yeah,
it's tight. I mean,
it
just
is, it is tight. So gaining a little bit of width, I think is beneficial. But like I said, there's no consistent pattern.
Sure.
Like I walked up and down measuring stalls last week, and it was like 8.5 here for like 3, and then it was 9, then it was 9.5 over here.
Right.
Just, I'm sure just over time, they've maybe shrunk or widened as
Sure.
they've relined them. I'm not sure. So there's some uniqueness there. So this concept one is pretty much, this is bare bones, not a lot of flash. This is the maximum amount of parking available. So there's not a lot of islands in here other than kind of what's existing. We do add this extra bay out here. This black dash line indicates the right of way. I'm not sure that Tim is going to be 100% in favor of this because we have sewer that basically comes right through here. So that would be putting the sewer under hard surface. It also adds impervious surface, so you got to increase your storm drain retainage. So there's some variables there, but putting the sewer underneath asphalt is maybe not the best, because if you have to access it, you got to tear up more. It costs more to dig it up, to repair it. So just putting that information out there, that's what this dash line represents. And if you recall, there would be a bunch of trees along here, so we are losing 8 to 10 trees to do that.
But this is the most, out of all your proposed designs, this has the most spots.
This
You're
has the
adding
most-
that little bit of row.
Yep, this has the
Okay.
most parking. Yep.
Aren't,
And this is
aren't
what,
the sewer-
10-foot stalls?
All these concepts represent 10-foot stalls.
Okay.
So at the parking design meeting, didn't we talk about moving this entrance over here?
You're on one.
We'll get there.
That's design 3.
There's other concepts.
Sorry,
Other concepts.
sorry.
I would suggest that
Sorry,
many
sorry.
communities
here it is.
locate their sanitary sewer in the middle of their street underneath the asphalt. So therefore, since most communities in terms of subdivision regulations put the sanitary sewer under the street, that might not be a huge hurdle to overcome, leaving an existing sewer line under that possible solution.
I don't know if there's anything significant I'm missing. Hopefully I caught it all.
The biggest thing really was just the right of way line. As far as if the city's comfortable with that encroachment. There's no more opportunity if you ever have a reason to widen that road. That's something on the city's radar. I don't know if there's other utilities or if there's.
It's a pretty wide road already. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're probably safe there.
All right, we'll flip to.
Do any of these, I don't mean to jump ahead, do any of these designs include, I know we talked about the possibility of a knee wall to kind of,
It's not shown, but
okay, just to mask it.
yeah, I kind of figured we'd start with the.
you gotta get the pavement.
Sure. I was just,
But yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Do we know where the accessible spots are? I don't see them
Yeah.
I
marked.
don't know why they didn't show up when I printed these, but I kind of was for them to be basically about here and here or.
Okay.
What, the ADA?
Yeah, basically you'll lose, I think it was 3 spaces probably along the north row for the hatched.
Because you'd have to have your traditional spots, and then you have to have van accessible as well. Van accessible.
Oh, sure,
Those are
sure.
much larger.
It's like a double spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
Yep.
Okay,
So if there was to be 9 feet stalls, my math says that you could fit 6 more in that middle column of spots in this design, 2 more up in that top, well, maybe not
So
with
there's much
ADA,
debate
that
about
changes
it, but I
things, but
park in
there's
it
potential of
literally every
like
single
10
day
to
of the
12
year, and I've
spots
never
to
seen
go
it
to
full,
9
ever.
instead of 10.
But with paid parking, it would get much.
Doing
more
quick
used.
math, we were talking, if we went 9.5 to get a little extra.
East and the summer,
You
but
gain
in
maybe
the
like
summer is when it's
4,
already
5
mostly
more
full.
stalls, so that you can gain something there.
Here,
I think
nobody's ever
that
parked
was that,
here
is
or
the
here. I've never
city
seen it.
doesn't follow its
The only
own
people who
ordinance.
park here is the market people that work and then the business.
And what I would add to that is that St. No has the reputation it has for that very reason. You can't prove that he didn't say 9 was wrong. He just said the ordinance, you weren't following the ordinance. So if a 9's wrong, then don't do it. But if 10's just an ordinance, why not change it?
Greg, what did we do in the other line? when We did 13.
Those are all 10.
They're all
All
10
10.
and 13. Okay.
Chris, were you talking about changing the plan or the ordinance? Because
Well, you'd have to change the ordinance.
I would certainly go for 9-foot parking stalls to get more parking spaces in the areas where we want more parking spaces. And then get a variation, don't change yours, you don't want to change yours, just get a variation for this, identify this as a variation when you get the plan approved.
maybe you do want to change the ordinance.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all for that too, but
9 or more,
Yeah.
maybe it's 9 or more. I don't know.
it's only one part of the ordinances that need to be changed.
8.5 is definitely too tight.
Yes,
I would agree with that. I think 9 is probably a minimum. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, 9.5 even would
yeah,
just give you that room.
I was hungry in a full-size truck, so.
yeah, right.
Vehicle.
Yeah, actually, when I was parking, there's a
Vehicle
gentleman that
confused.
he had an extended cab truck and he couldn't even get the truck straight with the lines because it was, so he was pretty much taking a spot and a half anyway.
but all the people that are buying electric cars will easily fit in 9.
Sure.
So it depends on which way the world.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, is it the Hummer's fault or the parking spot's fault?
That's right, we're in trouble.
All right, guys, go ahead.
All right, option 2 is a little bit less parking than the first option, but as you can see, it has a little bit more green space. You keep the trees and the green space down here. A couple more islands in here. You still have that same reduction because we got to maintain the lane width. The ad here it's identified as this kind of this brick, little brick plaza with a brick walkway. The thought there is it ties together with Court Street Plaza because you have the brick patio back here. These would be like the street bricks, so it ties to downtown, it ties to Court Street Plaza.
Yep.
Uh,
Is that a public throughway there?
so that
Walking
becomes kind
between the
of
buildings?
this
Yeah.
becomes a
No,
walkway.
no, I meant through the buildings, between the buildings.
Yes.
That's public.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You lose some parking obviously as a result of
Sure.
this through here, but that is again,
On
all
this-
of these are based assuming a 10-foot parking
Yep,
stall.
yep.
So these numbers are complex. If you notice at the side, I didn't point this out on the first one, on the right-hand side, it says 103 standard, 5 accessible, 108 total. The one before that was 134 standard, 5 accessible for 139 total.
I mean, the real
Current
driver,
lot's like 180.
the real driver between losing spaces and this one is all the green space, right? Because you're losing all the space. It's not the brick walkway so much.
Well, you're losing quite a few spaces in here.
Yeah. But if you, yeah.
The size of those green spaces is driven by that walkway. Is the
Right.
parking. So,
And how much you put around it,
right.
right? Okay. All right.
This idea, this concept here of trying to tie this together was a lot of conversation in that public input meeting.
Sure.
That people like that idea, trying to tie that together. And in option 3, that's kind of becomes a little bit more of an emphasis. So this is a little bit more drastic. So you have, again, you go from 106 standard, 5 accessible for 111 total spaces. So this actually moves the entrance over from its current position, and it creates that corridor again with Court Place, and you still have that brick plaza here. Then there's a walkway, and then you have your parking. This gained a lot of interest in the public input meeting. So we're showing it But the caveat here is the traffic engineers are saying, no way, don't do this. If you want to do it, this has to slide over farther to get a more offset. This creates too much congestion because you have Court Street coming in here. There's not
Right.
enough of an offset to make that work in this configuration. So it would need to slide this way farther. Ballparking somewhere.
Oh,
over here.
they're saying that, that
This
configuration
lines
lines
up with
up
the
too much
street.
with the street across.
You want it to be either directly in line or offset by a minimum amount that's based on the speed of the through street. Otherwise you get conflicts with people.
Yep.
turning on the
Trying to get in and out.
street coming this way.
Yep, yep. Makes sense.
So it either needs to go back where it was.
Needs to go back where it was, or it has to come over here farther.
Hmm.
In order to, but then you kind of lose that concept we talked about of having that tie-in, so.
Yeah.
And that's based upon the huge amount of traffics on that side street and the huge amount of traffic on Broad Street that it couldn't, I mean, there's no place else in the city where we have less than 100-foot offset between intersections. I mean, it's an assumption, it is a rule, okay? And traffic engineers will tell you that, but make them do the study that proves it doesn't work and that it can't be approved by the Professional Engineering Society of America. There's not a problem with the dead end parking lot coming at this particular location because the traffic and the volume of traffic and the speed of the traffic is not going to make that unsafe. And that's exactly the place that most of the people who were at the meeting we're talking about, because it gives you the direct link to Court Plaza. It gives you a direct way to come in to service those buildings. It gives you the
The line of
concept has a
sight
lot-
is
yeah,
a big part of it
Yeah,
too.
this concept has, I think, a lot, going for it. And again, I don't think there's a safety problem with that offset.
So on this one.
I
why
can't really
couldn't you
disagree
put
with
the
that.
extra parking spots down here when you move the entrance. Like on
You can't-
design one, there's parking spots right here in this green space. Why couldn't you include those just to pick up another 10 or 12 or however many spots?
I was actually gonna say the same thing.
You
You know,
could.
kind of combine the two.
You would lose a few of those on the west side because you need that drive to come back around, so.
Right.
We end up
Yeah.
close to a wash. You'd also add a lot of costs to the project that
Okay,
probably.
I mean, what if you did drawing one with the walkway?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, that's the
you can-
maximum. I mean, because one of the things I'm thinking about is the number of spaces. You're already going from 180 to 139 or 111, 108. That's excuse my French, that's an S load of spaces, right? To me, I mean, I'm all for the aesthetics, but given all our other discussions about parking, I don't know. I'm thinking you got to maximize the spaces here. So the first drawing where you get the most spaces, and I get the Court Street Plaza thing too. So maybe the compromise is do the walkway with one, and you get, maybe you get the best of both worlds. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
You're saying add the walkway from concept to.
Yeah, to concept, the first concept, that's got the most spaces, 139. So
That's
some,
exactly what concept two is.
No,
no, it
do the
doesn't have
road.
all the spaces of
Oh.
number one,
Yeah,
those bottom spaces. So what I'm saying is take one and add the walkway. You'd have to think
Take one
about
and
it.
add the drive. Before we believe what the traffic engineers say, make them do the studies to prove that that's unsafe to have such a short offset between the entrance to a parking lot, okay, in a street that doesn't have much traffic. in it. And if in fact it proves to be the death of everyone that potentially is gonna use the parking lot, well, then line it up. But if it's not, the preferred solution is the combination between 1 and 3.
I personally like the walkway more than the drive. What am I missing about the appeal of the drive?
Access and orientation, splitting the parking lot. It's an easy way to do the east side, the west side, because you could split your construction in half. And again, it's directing the people into the complex, focuses on the connection to Court, Plaza. And I think gives the buildings a better access point to where their front doors are. I would additionally take number 1 and flip it, all right? So that the driveway, which is closest to Broad Street, would end up being the driveway next to the sidewalk. So that again, if I came into the parking lot, I could drop my people off as I'm going to any of those businesses. And then the line where the drive is would just be the back end of a parking lot. Just take what's here now with the drive here and just turn it like that. And then you have the walkway and then the driveway, and you get the advantages Tom just said of the 139 parking spaces. Well, let's take some away for landscaping.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, I like the green. I mean, I think we all like the green, but there's a practical angle here relative to the amount of parking. And you know, I gotta say, I mean, when I look at one of these drawings and I'm losing, you know, almost 80 parking spaces, that's
83 parking spaces.
yeah, it's a boatload, right? I mean, so I think, you know, we're, you know, everything's a trade-off a little bit. And I think that's what we're trying to sort out here. I mean, I like the concept 1. I get the idea of the entryway to Court Street Plaza, you know, whether it's the driveway or the walkway. I don't know, you guys got to help us with the
Still a lot.
technicalities of that. I don't, you know, I'm not sure, you know, Chris is obviously well-versed on this, but you know, I'm a neophyte on this. So you got to help us on the legalities or the logistics or whatever. But you know, we certainly like the concept of providing access to Court Street Plaza. That whole, you know, funnel into there, I think is an important thing, because right now it's
I mean,
you know, it's just dead space, right?
I have a
I would say right now with all the other things we have going on, maximizing the number of parking
Yeah.
spots should be
Yeah.
our number 1 priority.
I don't.
And then
I don't
everything
disagree with
else that we want to do should, you know, we should try and fit it in, but I think if one of the things we're trying to do is get people to move over here and park here, it needs to be nice, it needs to be visually appealing, because it's one of the gateway entrances to our city, but it also needs to have the most parking we can squeeze into it. I mean, I absolutely think you need green space and it needs to be pretty and all the rest. But if we have to make hard choices, there's other places to plant trees and flowers and what, like, if this is gonna be our main parking lot, it needs to accommodate
A lot of cars.
more cars.
I would be curious to see what a concept would look like as a combination of 1 and 3. You know, I understand what you're saying about having, you know, that drive was gonna eat up some of that space if we move the access to the, I guess it'd be to the east.
Why is this all cut out like weird like this down here in this corner? Why can't this parking go all the way across to this sidewalk?
Theoretically, it can, but closest to your 10, you need somewhere to back out to, otherwise they're just backing straight down the line. So that little rectangular kink to the south,
Well, I mean,
that's basically a space for
it
people to
just-
back into to get
I know, but like, this is like 1, 2, I don't know, maybe it's only,
I mean, it can be done, there's parking lots that are that way.
I have a question about plan number 3. There's, you know, so the driveway through the center of it, and then there's like a gray strip. Is that where pedestrians can walk?
Yes.
Okay. Sidewalk.
Right, so I guess in terms of the.
One,
Go
sorry,
ahead,
Tom.
Go ahead.
One thing to note, when you move this over, there is existing on-street parking through here that will reduce your on-street parking. So when we talk about this number, that's in here, but remember, there's quite a bit of parking over here along the street that now kind of gets squeezed when you
I
do
got
this too. So I just want to point that out as a reminder that we do have a fair amount of work.
Andrew. Go ahead.
I want to echo the comments regarding the supply issue, right? With all the other stuff that's going on and
Yep.
people pushing back about parking, effortlessness. not we, but the board is considering or recommending slicing 40 spots. That seems very much at odds with some of the other discussions. A couple of design questions that I have, as not an engineer. Some of the openings, the drive lanes feel really suburban in design and really big and wide for a pedestrian. So I don't know if those are preferred width, a required width, but thinking about the pedestrian and the design, I think is important. And then I look at number 3 and I wonder if it might be possible for somewhere close to green to bottom.
Probably 3,
2 and 3.
2 and 3 are
Two
kind of the
both.
same.
Could the angled parking on Broad Street be accommodated? Can you put 20 or 30 spots on Broad?
That street seems plenty wide. Just from,
I think you'd have to cut in here to get the,
Sure. But who, like, what is that space used for otherwise?
nothing, hardly anyone ever, I mean, I think when City Hall and stuff has meetings, people park there, but
I
I
guess
bet you if you looked out that window, nobody's parked there.
is part of it, where do you want the spots? Do you want them inside the lot or outside the lot? I mean,
Well, I just think you could
That's-
pick up
that's
a
a
lot
great
that
option,
you're
Andrew. My
losing in the
concern would
lot
be,
on the.
I mean, I would rather have them in the
in
lot. I
summertime,
think.
people trying to back
I don't know.
out, you're backing out onto Broad.
Totally.
Yeah.
Daisy.
No one's going fast on Broad.
Well, yeah.
40-mile-an-hour street.
And you're coming up to a stoplight.
No, it's
But
true. If we could keep it contained in the parking lot, might be.
put some, speed calming or traffic calming measures on Broad, put a traffic table or something there to slow people down.
Could you extend the lot out onto Broad and put another line in there? So in other
Well, I mean,
words,
that's-
on drawing 1,
obviously that's drawing 1. So I mean, drawing 1 kind of accomplishes, I think, what we've talked about. The
right?
the reverse is you leave it as is and then the parking comes this way, but then you,
That's not a bad idea at all, Andrew.
Could you add
Yeah.
that
It's worth
onto the
looking at.
street?
And then you would just bend the sidewalk to run in between the two.
Well, or around it.
10 parallel spots currently right there, according to Apple Maps.
Yeah, there's 13
On
additional ones
Broad?
on the bottom there.
On Broad.
On Broad.
Parallel
Yeah.
spots.
So what do you add, 3 or 4? No.
It's opposite, so there's 6 on the south side of Broad Street.
All right,
And on the
so-
north side, 6 on the.
Let me ask this. So we're in this process now. Where are we? I mean, what are you guys looking for? I
we're
guess?
à la carte.
Yeah.
Pick what you like.
Trying to do, right.
And then we
right.
come back with another more refined concept based on that feedback.
Sure.
And then we refine that down further.
I think we have a couple of guests that might want to comment on this. Did you want to comment on this, or are you just listening, or?
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel the same, try to get as much parking. and
Sure.
that's the whole purpose, so.
okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
Gotta do that.
Yep.
I just would say that would be the.
I mean, it sounds like widening the bay is a big issue. So we're going to lose some spots, but we want to try and,
You got
you know,
one.
Or is it just?
minimize the pain. I personally would like to see what we can do as far as combining concept 1 and 3. But at the same, I think I would like to see something with Andrew's suggestion of what that would at least look like if we were to,
Use
what
Broad
would we gain? Because obviously we would be losing the parallel parking on Broad, but how many spots could we gain if we were to put parallel parking, or excuse me, diagonal, angled parking on Broad?
You think it's feasible to add that angled parking within the parking lot by bumping out the lot onto Broad? Does that make any sense?
It's already, I mean,
No, no.
Yeah, I don't
No,
think it.
I meant toward Broad to the south,
Narrow Broad.
narrow Broad. Put another line in there. I don't know. I'm
No
talking
parking on
out
the
loud.
street, But
Right,
another
right,
To bring
Right,
another
right.
parking in.
road
Yes,
in the lot.
yes. So like when you go down to on the bottom of drawing 1 to the right, just add another set of parallel parking, just bump it out into Broad Street. I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously not an
Again, I
engineer.
think,
I'm just thinking adding more parking spaces into the lot that is of importance to us, and appreciate your comments. Thank you. I don't know if that makes any sense.
So are you suggesting?
Bumping the
Yes.
parking lot out.
Yes,
the curve was
Yeah.
gonna be done here?
and bump out the
So
lot.
Physically, that's probably possible. I don't know if the city wants to narrow the road.
Yeah.
Also, that's gonna drastically increase the cost of the project,
Ah,
because now you pretty much have to rebuild
Right.
Broad Street, yeah.
that's exactly that.
Including the storm
I got you.
That's a very good point.
Okay,
If you really
all right.
want to add 20 or 30 or 40% to the whole process,
Yep.
mess up Broad Street while you're doing a parking lot.
Okay,
You know,
So
it's no different than the catastrophe on
So-
Church Street when we did 12.
so scratch that.
Okay.
Let's scratch that.
And even shifting the driveway over,
That's a big number too. Yeah.
run every single iteration of cost estimate, but that's gonna add cost because you're still impacting
Yeah.
the street that otherwise.
I guess, to be honest with you, that's why I'm back to one and make the walkway. Because I think in terms of, again, I know we want to do it right and all this kind of stuff, but to me, if you took one and you added the walkway, which gives the access point and the focus on Broad Street, it's kind of a compromise, right? I mean, I know we don't get the driveway exactly maybe the way we want it, but we maximize the amount of spaces. We get the focus, if you will, to Pleasant Street. And
So Tom, are you saying you leave the driveway here and then put a walkway?
yeah, just so, yeah,
So
yeah.
concept-
Then you're losing all the
basically-
parking
Concept-
spots.
Concept
So then
two,
that's option two.
but then kick
No,
out.
no,
into
no, you
here.
don't have the spots, you don't have the spots on the bottom in option two.
Okay, but
Right, so you're this here, so this all for the most part stays the same. You add this and then you kick out here and
Yep.
add that extra lane that's in
That's 13 spots.
one.
With my
So
variance-
it's
my
one
variance sign
with
is
the walkthrough.
here.
put the walkway here.
I
With
count
that
16
extra
spots
row here.
occupied by the walkway. Where are those people
This
coming
with the
from?
extra row
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, nobody walks from the box factory up I mean, not nobody, people walk up there, obviously, but it's not like there's a parking lot down there and they're walking up here and you're trying to get them over there, like, not very many people walk up and down Broad
So
Street.
I know the businesses expressed wanting some sort of a safe walkway through the lot.
Well, yeah, because if
So-
you're parking in the lot,
Yeah.
But you don't have to have that walkway connect to Broad Street. I agree with what Deb's saying. We don't need a pedestrian walk from Broad Street to Courtyard Square. If you just.
But you're getting it,
If you just maximized it within the parking lot, so you'd flow from the parking stalls to this connection and then to the square, that's okay. You could just leave off the connection to Broad Street because
Yes.
pedestrians aren't coming that way. They're not walking that way. They're not coming that way. They'll be on the walkway from the parking bays
Yeah.
through the building, which is the identity that the.
so
building
you
owners
save, you
wanted.
save a few spots. by
You save a
doing
few
it, yeah.
spots, yeah.
Okay,
And
so-
you just maximize, maximize that exposure between the
Yeah.
two bays.
So
to
maybe the
courtyard.
compromise is it's drawing one and drawing two, but an abbreviated walkway.
Right.
Uh,
Maybe
Just-
the walkway is just here to here.
yeah, there you go.
That's-
In the parking lot. I'm sorry, sir, did you have a comment? I'm sorry.
With that median eliminated between those middle spaces, you've come a long way to being able to get through what happens in the winter, the snow comes, they pile it up on the median, and now I can't get to that side of that road.
I got you.
So with that gone, that's a big step.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a.
And you're not walking behind other cars.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
You know, it gives you a sidewalk to get up.
Yeah, you have an access
And you're
point.
not
Yeah,
guessing
Yep.
whether they're gonna back out, whether they're
As
gonna-
as I'm looking out the window and people are walking down the travel lanes of the parking lot.
Yeah, right.
So it's,
So what you're saying is you like the walkway going through the middle, right? Or
It just keeps from out having to go, I mean, it's kind
Yeah.
of walking out.
Gives you an
behind
access
cars
point.
and
sure,
Start to go, then they don't go, so it's just nice to have place to go, a designated walkway.
Yeah, yeah,
to
okay.
get through the park.
So
Sure,
here's a, let me just throw this out there. So a couple of things I think about. So drawing one, I think we're in agreement on maximizing the number of spaces. So, you know, you kind of start with drawing one. And then including some type of walkway, maybe not all the way to Broad Street, but something that kind of covers the parking lot. And then maybe the other thing to think about, guys, is, you know, can we squeeze those spots to 9.5 to pick up? I know it's only maybe a handful at the end of the day, but you know, that all helps the cause, right? Maybe that makes up for some of the loss of the walkway. If you did that across the board. Now, I don't know, we'd have to get a
How many
variance
did you say you picked up when you did 9 feet? You just,
10 to 12.
on 9 feet.
Calculation.
Yeah.
for the whole.
Nine is, I don't know.
On concept one.
I mean, 9 or 10 might not sound like a lot, but it is, I mean, it matters.
Yeah, so maybe the compromise is 9.5. I don't know. So maybe, is that, I mean, are we thinking that, guys? I mean, kind of one walkway, shorter walkway out of 2, 9.5 foot spaces, you know, maybe we don't, we kind of live with the driveway.
I
Is that kind of what we're getting to here?
I used Paul's scientific method of holding this up to the light. If you took concept 1, kept the island in the middle.
No island. in the
No
middle.
island.
No,
no.
that
I
from,
mean, the walkway.
yeah, see that little, with that little island in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you
that
if that was basically where the walkway was, you didn't even connect it to Broad.
Correct.
You just went from there to Court Street.
You gain 3 or 4 spots back
So you
here.
do-
Right, so, because you're basically keeping concept 1, but we're gonna add that island with the walkway going from the middle
Abbreviated.
to,
walkway.
yeah, an abbreviated walkway. So you'd keep that little island in the middle. And it would go north connecting to Court Street Plaza. That's only gonna cost you 10 spots.
If you go to 9 feet, it's a walk.
9 or 9.5, maybe 9.
Yeah, 9.5, you might be able to get a
I'd
few
be
more,
careful on the
but,
width. I'd be careful on the width. I wouldn't
Yeah.
squeeze those down too hard. 'cause
but even if you kept it like that,
everybody's driving a massive,
Okay, but
SUV and a
everybody
truck.
right now, is it the easiest parking lot on earth to park in? Everyone parks there. If you look out there, there's big trucks parked there.
Yeah.
I park in that lot every day.
yeah.
Yes, sometimes it feels tight. It's not unsafe. It's not impossible. I drove a big pickup truck half of the summer here for a farmer's market. It's a big Ford.
Yep, yep,
four-door.
yep.
You can park in the spots. So would it be luxurious to have 10 whole feet? That would be amazing.
No,
But
I don't think
if we're
anybody's,
trying to maximize
Yeah.
spots,
I don't think anybody's suggesting 10 feet. I think we're
So,
backing off. from
but
10
I mean,
feet, you know,
I don't think
9.
we have to get super scared about, I mean, they should obviously all be the same size. That's just wonky to me that they're all different sizes. But like, if they're like 8 feet and we make them 9 feet and we're only picking up 10, like when you're eliminating, right now they have 181 and you're going down to 138, best case scenario, picking up an extra 10 makes a difference.
No one's arguing with you. Deb.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No one's
but-
arguing with you.
But I mean, it like,
You don't need to
I don't-
argue it. We got it.
they're fine.
Yeah, okay. All right, guys. So I'm sure we've made this clear as mud for you. So
That's clear.
the way I'm thinking, let me say this out loud and if anybody disagrees, holler at me. So I think we're thinking concept 1 for the most part in terms of the space. I think we're thinking kind of 9-foot type spaces uniformly. And then I think we're thinking a walkway of some type, not all the way Broad to Pleasant, but something that provides an oasis for people to walk to the building structures on the, what is that, the north side of the parking lot.
Do,
Might-
do the island,
Does the walkway just go off of that greenery right at the bottom? Yeah, no,
No,
Next one.
in the middle, next one.
that one. Could it just come off of that, go up from there?
Yeah,
But it doesn't
Little offset.
exactly align, it's a little offset, but it definitely maximizes.
It does align here.
It's close.
It's-
It's awfully close.
Yeah, it's awfully close.
And I'm sort of picturing you just go up from there, and you still keep the driveway that goes around to those bottom spots. You don't have to
And-
sacrifice anything there.
So if you
Just carry it up.
put a walkway, why does it need a big island around it? Why can't you just have a walkway?
It doesn't necessarily need the island, but because of the walkway, it's gonna encroach on several parking spaces that are on the angle. So you're gonna lose those spaces anyway.
So, okay,
So the island is just. it's more-
because you lost them anyways. Okay.
How-
You can hatch them in or
what do you, is this walkway, is it like 8 feet wide?
whatever you want.
Whatever.
Minimum of-
Yeah,
Yeah, minimum
Well-
of 5.
minimum 5. Okay, so it could be 5 to 8 or something like
I mean,
that.
I think,
I think the one that's.
So maybe with that in mind, guys, when you redo a drawing, you can, we want to maximize the spaces. I mean, to Deb's point, I mean, it's
I mean, in my
Yeah.
mind, I think it was 5, but. I
5.
don't- I
Yeah,
don't know what
okay,
was
and that's
depicted.
enough, right?
The red one shown on concept 2, I think might have been 8 feet.
8, okay.
The intent behind this, one of the comments from our last meeting. was
Yep.
wanting An aesthetic,
Some kind of entryway.
an aesthetic drop.
Yep,
And this was an alternative
okay,
to satisfy that, but didn't involve moving the driveway over.
okay, so have we,
You might not be walking from church to the plaza, but you're definitely not driving
right,
through. the-
have we given you enough to come up with a near final drawing here?
I think so.
Or,
I would just add the caveat, I don't know who needs to approve encroaching into the right of way. So, I don't know.
We can talk about that internally.
yeah,
So I can definitely draw that.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's not a problem, though. Shouldn't be, right?
I'm sure Tim will educate
We-
us on why it is. We'll talk through it.
I
Right.
suspect it probably will have to receive commission approval, but I
I would think so.
don't hold me to that part.
Well, it's 13 spots, so that's in the whole scheme of maximizing the spots, so. All right, guys, that's great.
Thank you.
Any other, you guys okay? Yeah, good, thank you.
And then I didn't
Oh.
go there, but that was the sketching that we did as part of the public input, just as a background of all the talk that happened there. So you
I
can
think-
see
I
what
think I
was
see my
talked about.
car there, getting banged up because I'm too close. Oh, just kidding.
Okay.
No,
Actually, if they hit my car, it'd be no problem.
Tom, they don't sell vans anymore.
What's that?
They don't even sell vans anymore.
That's right.
How many? Are you kidding? Because he has 2.
Okay. All right, guys, listen, thank you very much. Appreciate all your time and effort on this.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Greg.
Sure.
Kevin, thank you. That's good stuff. All right, thank you.
We're gonna keep going.
Thanks very much for coming. Appreciate it.
Did you,
There'll be another meeting.
Are we gonna be notified or?
Yes.
did you guys want to make any comments before you left? Anything in particular? No? Okay, all right.
The agenda always goes out before the meeting. Okay. You can always keep an eye on our website to look for the agenda. Okay. Sometimes I don't get announced for the weekend. But, Brett, are you in touch with businesses? as well?
We've got the sign-in sheet from the public input,
All
so
right,
Okay, no.
we'll certainly reach out.
thanks a
Thank
lot,
you.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thank you.
having you.
All right, let's see here. The next item on our agenda is the joint study session, economic development strategy. So I assume when you meet joint, this is with the city commission and the DDA. Is that what we're
And the
talking
planning
about?
commission.
And the planning commission. Yes, very good.
Yeah, so we had talked
And it'll
about,
all be on TV.
we will. We had talked about doing this sometime in October. It was hard to get coordinated. So we were hoping to schedule it as a study session at the end of the November 18th city commission meeting.
All right. Now, we have, refresh my memory on this now. We don't have a DDA meeting in November, correct?
This is it, because
This is
next
it,
week
right.
is the election.
Right, and then so
Correct.
we
So we moved it
rescheduled December
early.
for the 9th of
Correct.
December. Okay.
Yep.
So this would be the 18th. So what would we have to do, Emily? We'd have to show up at the end of the city commission meeting to do
Yep.
this economic review.
Yep.
Tell it, what does that entail
So a s-
roughly?
a study session is sort of a more casual meeting at
Sure.
the end of a typically at the end of a city commission
Round
meeting.
table kind of.
More of a
thing.
round table, and
Yep.
it's just to discuss
Yep,
you know, whatever the topic is. So we would look at the economic development strategy, which is, by the way, on the agenda for tonight for the
Okay.
commission to approve. So we would talk about what it looks like to get that done.
Okay,
Which is a combination of efforts from the city
various groups.
commission, the
Yep.
planning commission,
Yep.
and the DDA.
It
Yep.
was the paid parking thing. It was a couple of months ago. There was a study session, correct? I know I was at,
Yes.
yeah.
There was a study session. It's been a while ago.
I
A
Now,
remember.
couple
where
months ago, it was
we-
at the beginning of the
Yep.
summer.
We
Yeah.
presented on the study that the consultants did for paid
Right.
parking, as well as the designs that Jones Petrie Rafinski put together for streetscape.
Right,
Those were both on that study session.
yes.
So what you're wondering is, is a sufficient number of this group going to be available for the?
Yes, we'd
can
like to
go.
have a quorum.
I think I can, November 18th, I can do that.
Okay. Chris,
I can do it.
All right,
Tammy?
Robert, can that work for you, 18th?
From what I can see, that
Tammy?
should
Yeah.
work.
Well, we may have some of our other board members
Yeah.
might be able to come.
Maybe.
So you need
Yes.
5 of us, and Brooke is there.
Oh, no, wait, would that be morning or evening?
No, evening.
It'd be
It'd be
evening.
at the end of the 6 PM city commission
So like
meeting.
7
So
o'clock,
probably
Yeah, it depends on what
7:30,
else is on the agenda, but yeah, maybe around 7.
10 o'clock.
If Greg is providing pizza, I will be here.
Yeah, really. Are we at pizza? Wow.
How about
No,
that?
I don't think there was pizza at the last one.
No.
Oh, man.
Oh,
No.
Oh, we could. I mean,
no, during that parking lot discussion, there was
Yeah.
pizza.
Oh, there was
You
pizza
missed
then?
out.
oh, no.
I
You
missed
missed
No, I
out.
think no, I didn't. I missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
I should be able to.
so I
yeah.
think you can assume, Emily, we can
So
attend.
we've got 4.
Yes.
Brooke will be there. That's
Yeah.
a very good point. I don't,
Yes.
I guess she can count for 2
Yeah, sure.
forums.
Twofer. Twofer.
And it's a
Yeah.
twofer, and we've got a few members missing
Yeah.
today, so it sounds doable.
So maybe Emily, what you can do is just send us out a note
Yep.
with a calendar thing. And we'll all get that on there. So we'll be ready to go for that.
Calling it the
We'll bring
St.
our-
Joe City Roundtable.
And the plan is actually being submitted tonight. Maybe when you send this note, can you send us the plan? Is it like a?
Sure,
like
you've
a-
seen it. You guys
Yes, I know.
approved it.
Right,
But
of
yes,
course.
I can send
Yeah.
it to you.
But I'm thinking the latest and greatest, yeah. Okay,
And that's a good reminder to join us tonight if you're available.
be there
'cause
tonight.
We will be talking about the economic development strategy and the marketing plan.
oh, well, man. A lot of stuff going on, guys, a lot of stuff. All right, very good. Thanks, Emily. All right, next section, we have just kind of updates of a variety of different things, retail activity, short-term rentals, project tracking, blah, blah, blah. So Emily, anything in particular you want to highlight or?
On the retail activity, there's really not much.
Yeah.
I removed some of the old news.
Yep.
So this is what is in the works. I meant to add that in the market, the wine shop is expanding,
Yes,
which is exciting. I know they're
Very
waiting for their.
exciting.
Yeah, that's
It's
very
just
cool.
a question of the Michigan Liquor Commission.
time.
I mean, she has to do some work too, but
Oh,
the
she's gotta,
big hiccup is gonna,
she's got to get a class C, that'll.
so her
Take a little
current
while. Yeah.
plan is just to expand the retail space. That should take a couple of months.
For
Her
starters.
ultimate goal is to serve glasses of wine, maybe
That's great.
tequila flights, whiskey, whatever.
I think that's a great idea.
She's not opening a full bar. That is not her,
No,
her plan or her whatever. But that is gonna take significantly longer.
That's cool.
But she's hoping to get the expanded retail space because all she's doing is adding more shelves. But you
Yep,
know,
yep.
it's
Right.
Michigan. So it's
Is
gonna
she,
take a
is
minute.
she gonna be doing spirits as well? Is
No.
wine or
No,
just
Uh,
wine?
yes.
oh, she's gonna
So,
expand the spirits. Oh, wow.
She could do that right now if she wanted to.
Oh,
Her
spirits?
retail Liquor license allows her to sell,
Scotch and.
Oh,
whiskey,
spirits
yeah.
too?
I believe a retail liquor license, like you can sell
Beer.
fortified, I'm not sure.
Oh,
I
that's
shouldn't, but yes, her plan is to expand into selling.
that's all, it's going great for her. I mean, it's excellent, yeah.
She does a great job.
I think
Yeah,
the serving thing is massive there, because that's like the perfect place for a wine bar type.
Oh, yeah.
And the kitchen in the corner is, I don't know what happened to the guy doing the hood. He got so far, he's got like things left to do, but now we haven't seen them in 2 months to finish.
Oh,
it.
well.
I mean, how cool would it be to go to the cheese lady, grab a bunch of cheeses and stuff, and then get a glass of wine? You can sit right there and hang
I
out
mean,
with.
the other guy serves wine, but it's,
It's a kitchen that'll be, I'm not gonna give you too many details
No
because it
offense,
keeps changing, but it's a kitchen that'll be open in the evenings, nothing fancy, but its ultimate goal is to rent it out on a nightly basis to food trucks, chefs who want to do pop-ups
Cool.
is the ultimate goal. So there's something different happening in there.
Oh, that's
Cool.
cool.
But it'll be a full commercial kitchen that, like an incubator kind of kitchen for especially food trucks and stuff who,
wow. Need a
that's
place.
the ultimate goal. Like I said, the hood is gonna be the. death.
Who's doing this? You're doing it, you're doing that kitchen or someone else?
Rick, my husband,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but like I said, the goal is not for us to open
A restaurant type thing, yeah.
We'll do it a couple days a week, but not 7 days a week. But we want it open 7 days
Yeah,
a week and we
terrific.
want it serving food, but
Terrific.
That's great.
That's cool.
kind of like the market, the plan is coming together as we work on stuff.
Sounds
Nice.
good.
I have it in my head, but getting that done is a different thing.
All right, let's see,
Short-term rental, no
short-term
changes.
rentals, nothing new there. We've got 5 approved and assuming functioning,
Yeah, I think it's 6,
6.
units approved.
Oh,
One of
6
those
units
addresses
approved.
has
I
2.
see.
What is 321 State for the facade grant? Which one, what building is that?
321.
It says work underway, deadline.
That's right at the corner of Broad and State.
Which building is it though? The old,
The one directly across from Jimmy John's.
Rhymes, old Rhymes building.
Yes, yes,
The
the where
t-shirt,
Moxie's used to be?
Oh, I saw them.
yes.
the t-shirt
T-shirt
place,
shop.
the t-shirt
Yes.
place.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Where the
They've got work
where the
underway.
winery guys are now.
When I would say work
Uh-huh.
underway, that was, we didn't go verify that, but that was what we were told.
No,
They were
I-
doing something the
I
other
walked
day.
over there to get lunch, coffee. Yep, work
I didn't
has
know.
been underway. Yeah.
Work
Okay.
underway. All right.
I
so
just
they're
wasn't sure what building that was.
coming to a head. Let's see, what else? We've got our usual
Nothing
project downtown.
Nothing major on the
project
downtown
tracker.
projects tracker. We have pushed State Street rehab design out a little further, along with the Water Street retaining wall. I don't think there were any other big changes this month.
Hmm.
Any notion when Court Place Plaza will get re-added to not being on hold, but working on?
Yeah.
I know you got a million other things. I get it.
It's
I know.
going to be a great project for our new hire,
There you
Okay.
go. There you go.
and we have a new hire
Oh, you do?
All right.
too. So I was
Excellent.
gonna get to that update.
Yes.
But
Go ahead.
we, I posted for a development director, and a special projects and communications director. And, we interviewed for the special projects and communications director. We had great resumes, and we offered the position to someone who's gonna be starting in mid-November. Very
Okay.
excited. Got a couple of resumes for the development director that were good. But I just didn't feel like I had the position quite right. And so what I ended up doing was reworking the job description. I reduced the level a little bit. So the development director will not oversee the zoning administrator, the building inspectors, the property maintenance person, but we'll work with them. So it's a little bit more similar to the special projects and comms role. It's going to be sort of special projects and development. And I ended up hiring a candidate from that pool who was really strong. So it's,
So you hired 2 new people.
so I
Excellent.
hired 2 new people from that special projects and communications posting.
Okay,
One of them will be the development director, but with a revised job description and responsibility
Is that
set.
person going to be our
So-
liaison?
Yes,
Yeah.
so that person will start early December. She needs to give 4 weeks notice. And she'll be here for the December 9th meeting, and I'm super excited.
well, that's
So-
good that
Terrific.
the city's hiring some people because it seemed pretty bare bones staff.
And you previously had appointed an assistant.
An assistant city manager, yes,
Yes, right.
yes.
So
So, yeah,
you're filling out your team.
yes,
Very
We don't
exciting.
get to find out who they are until they start.
Well, the other. people
You
probably.
do, but I haven't told staff yet, so I'm a
Okay.
little earmuffs, Greg. I was gonna save that for staff meeting tomorrow. We hired Kelly Ewalt, who is from Berrien Springs. She currently works on their team. She recently got her master's in public administration. She seems just great. And so she'll be starting in December. We also hired Kayla Griffith for the special projects and communications. She is from Whirlpool and then Stryker and has a lot of experience with communications. And I think they're both going to be just great.
Awesome.
Good stuff. That's
Congrats.
terrific. Very exciting.
So
Very exciting.
that is a project that someone with time needs to get to, for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see, anything on the DDA initiatives? When do we have to like pull the trigger on the wayfinding signage stuff?
Immediately. I
Yesterday,
need to
right?
get an RFP out.
Okay,
That is,
okay,
that is not,
because I'm thinking of spring.
yeah, no,
you
it's
know.
not helping me sleep at night, knowing that it's not done.
Okay.
So, yep, that's with me and that will not wait for Kelly. I got to get that
Okay,
done.
all right, got it. Yeah, I
So
know.
that's just your next step. You have to get the RFP and
Yep.
then it goes, how long do RFPs stay out there
Yeah.
till you find somebody? or-
It varies. No, you have
No.
to, you have
Put a-
to set a deadline. We'll probably give 4 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
a few
Um,
weeks, yeah.
Yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah, 2 to 4 is
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
ideal for me, depending on what it is.
Okay.
I'll talk to our consultants and make sure
Yeah.
that the timing feels right to them.
Okay.
This one, they might need to fabricate some samples, so we need to give them time.
Oh, okay.
And this joint session, this helps us along on the RRC activity.
Yes, that
Right.
is an RRC
Critical.
requirement.
Critical item. Yep.
Yeah, where's our RRC dashboard?
It's on
Packet
34.
Page 34. So
Yep.
we are moving right along. We are checking boxes left and right.
Yep. Yep.
We need to, we heard on a call with MEDC last week that the economic development strategy doesn't fully check all of the boxes because we don't yet have a list of all of our incentives that are offered by the city.
Oh,
So we need to make that. It can be separate from the plan, but I'm going to look to our economic development partner to work with us on developing that and getting that posted online.
okay.
We'll do the joint meeting. The really last thing is 4.3.8, which is the development guide. That is the final item that Joe Borgstrom from Place in Maine is working on in partnership with Cornerstone Alliance. And he expects to have that done in mid-November. So
Okay.
we are on track to have all of this done this year. We have given notice to MEDC that we are aiming for full approval by the end of the year and they're ready to
Oh, wow.
turn it around quickly.
All right.
So
Oh,
we're really
excellent.
pushing.
That's terrific. That's terrific. So,
Good job on
oh, my God.
all
that's
your
a-
work. to
That's a
get this
massive
over the
undertaking.
finish line.
It's been massive. Kristen Gunderson has also done a lot of work on it. Kudos to her and our partnership. Andrew and Joe has been great.
Terrific. Very exciting. All right, let's see. Paul, any updates here? We have your handy dandy report.
I mean, just
Yeah.
keep an eye out for what will be a holiday slew of events
Right,
coming up. We got a lot
right.
of active things going around right now, like Pumpkins on Parade, Where's the Witch? So you might see kids walking around with their little Where's the Witch passports, looking for
Cool.
all those throughout the businesses on the downtown. But nothing new or nothing necessarily out of left field. I'm putting in a grant this week for some lighting in Court Place Plaza. That will replace some of the holiday reduction that we put together for this plan. So hopefully that goes through and that will be not just for holiday lights, but for ongoing lighting in Court Place Plaza.
Sure. That's great. Good stuff. That's great. That's great, Paul. When do we light up the bluff thing? When is that?
It's like
That's the first Friday of, or
in
first
December.
Saturday of
No,
December.
first Friday.
It was first Friday of December. yeah.
6.
Light Up the Bluff is a city thing, not a St. Joe
Right,
Day
it's
thing.
the week after Thanksgiving. right?
Luminary is the St.
Yeah.
Joe Day one. Light Up
Right.
the Bluff is the city.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
exciting.
Luminaries the 22nd.
That's one of the
Okay.
best things we do. I tell
Looking
you.
forward to that,
That's-
Paul.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome. Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
Luminary's
Thanks.
good.
Thanks, Paul. Let's see, what else? Emily, anything else on your end that we need
I
to
was
talk
gonna
about?
give a staffing update, which I did.
Yep.
What else did I write in my little narrative? That's it.
All right, let's see, we have public comments. I think we had our public guys
We have
come.
The
Mr.
public.
Chair, may I offer a couple of other
Please.
comments?
Please.
We are going to be hosting our final session in the 4-part Development Academy that we have
Oh,
been
right.
hosting this spring
Yeah,
and
yeah,
summer. That will be on the 14th. That will be here in Commission Chambers pending a check of the calendar. So that session is on pro formas. So we've kind of been building all the way from, master plans and visions, all the way through, the tools that you can offer, and then literally down to vetting a project and understanding project financials. So
That'd be great.
we hope a couple of you that have been attending will join us for that. We have a busy season looking at next year's budget, and I think we will have some more to talk about with leadership at Cornerstone in the next month or so. So stay tuned there. And we're excited for a big 2025 and really digging into our engaging the community and rolling out a new strategic plan for the organization sometime next year. So
Terrific. That's great stuff. That's great stuff. All right, very good. Any other comments from the board about anything in particular? Have we
can just give a quick-
sufficiently beat the horse?
I'll give you a quick plug that
Please.
Krazel's Community Member Show is opening on November 15th. So if you've made an artwork in the last year and you want to show it, just
Ooh.
come on over and show it with us.
That would be a frightening
Uh,
thing, Tammy. It's frightening if I ever show up
It's
with an art
creative,
thing,
it's
that would-
creative. And then along with Luminary Weekend, we're doing our Gnome event. We do a clay guild sale where our guild artists sell bowls that they've made. It's a fundraiser for the ceramic studio. It's a fun event. We've turned it, it's completely gnome themed. So you can whittle a gnome, you can dress like a gnome, you can buy a gnome, you can make a
Wow,
gnome.
nice.
All the things. Friday is like the live music and party night.
Wow.
Saturday is the family festival and
When-
you
when
can
is the
come and
date?
do
What's the
make and
date of that?
takes. The 22nd and 23rd of November.
Terrific. That's great.
Bowls go on sale, 22nd?
You want to go on the 22nd now. It's going to be an evening ticketed event, but it's affordable. $15 gets you in the door and you get first access to all the bowls. Oh, gosh.
yeah.
In the evening.
Evening, yeah. 6 o'clock.
There's a bunch of stuff happening on the 22nd.
I know there is. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Luminary always brings a lot of
Yeah.
people out. That's all, that's a good
cool
one.
event.
That's
Very
a good
cool.
one.
There's and this is, I'm not new anymore, but I still not memorize this code. There's something else happening on the 22nd. Is it the Window Wonderland?
Window Wonderland,
Yeah.
yes. This is a decorated
I know
window.
Jamie's been talking with your folks.
Oh,
and
man.
Cool.
Place is gonna be hopping.
So, Yeah.
No, I just. it's a
Busy
full
night.
weekend.
Better
Yeah,
bring
it
extra
absolutely
people.
is.
Better bring
Yeah.
an extra-
Yeah,
That's great. Thank you,
yeah,
thank you.
Luminary is
Tammy.
always good.
All right, anything else for the good of the order? Anything else? No?
I think we're good.
We get a motion to adjourn
So moved.
in near record time, right?
second.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Make sure you're,
Thank you, everyone.
turn your mics off.
Turn your mics off.